I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What is up, AfterBuzzers? I'm Jane Johnson here for Bravo in Quarantine, and I am so excited to have today's guest with us. You know her and love her from Vanderpump Rules. So happy to have Raquel Leviss with us here today. Hi, Raquel.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Oh my gosh. How is quarantine life treating you?
It's been good. It's not bad. It is what it is. I'm taking Graham on long walks 3 times a day. We go to the park across the street, so it's been nice. Going a little stir crazy, but it's manageable.
Your dog Graham is so adorable. It's my favorite kind of dog. Is it a golden doodle?
Yeah, he's a mini golden doodle.
Literally,
he's so smart. We take him to agility training. So he jumps over hurdles and runs through tunnels and goes on this teeter-totter. He's so smart. It's incredible. I love him.
That is so cool that you take him to agility training. And it's hilarious because, I mean, Graham is gorgeous as well. So would you ever put Graham into a dog show?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got a ways to go before he can enter, but yeah, definitely. I think that's something cool to do.
If you got to be Graham's handler, you would definitely steal the whole show.
I take away from all the dogs on show.
Literally. Well, I ask because I know that you have a history with pageantry, and I've been watching, you've been killing it with so many interviews. It's so good to get to hear from you for longer periods of time and see this beautiful side of you, because you're so gorgeous inside and out. And so to hear about all of your pageant history is so interesting. I would love to learn a little bit more about how you got started with that, and the fact that you kind of teased you want us to see it on Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah, I do. I think it would be really fun to kind of explore the whole pageant world, because it's crazy and it's fun and it's all positive. And I really want to show that side, because I feel like pageants are stereotyped as super catty and mean. And I've met some of the sweetest girls through pageants. So that'd be nice to share. And then how I got into pageants, I actually got scouted in high school at the mall with my best friend at the time. And I was like, Mom, should I enter this? She's like, I don't know. Are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, it'd be fun. So I just kind of did it. And the judge was, she owns Peak Models, which is an agency. So she ended up, I didn't win that pageant, but she ended up signing me. And that's how I got into modeling too.
That's so awesome. I love that you're one of those stories where you're you actually got discovered at a mall. It's you, Jennifer Lawrence. I don't know who the short list of people is that got discovered at a mall, but check that one off the list.
Amazing. Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, like you said, pageants kind of do get an interesting rap sometimes, but they're very fun to watch. And there's also such a philanthropic component. What has your experience been with the philanthropies that you've worked with in pageantry?
I've worked with quite a few. Actually, the most recent pageant that I competed in, at the time I was still volunteering at Vanderpump Dogs. So that was my philanthropy. And it was really fun to talk about volunteering there, and that feeling that you get when you see this dog that you've been caring for and nurturing get finally adopted into a forever home. So that was really fun. And right now I don't have a specific philanthropy, but I feel like I'm representative of the girls that feel like they don't have a voice and that they're finding their voice. And a lot of my pageant experience has been pushing myself out of my comfort zone with speaking particularly. So I feel like I've come a long way since from when I started.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be so hard being asked those specific questions. I think that a lot of people have had those funny kind of embarrassing moments with their answers, about maps and such as, and
oh my
all of that kind of stuff.
But yeah,
for someone like I know you've described yourself as previously being shy, to put yourself out there like that, it's a huge way to challenge yourself and put yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's a huge risk. It's big risk taking. You have no idea what they're going to ask you when you're standing on that stage and all eyes are on you and what you're about to say. So your heart is definitely pounding out of your chest.
Was there ever a moment where you had one of those like flubs with your answers where you were embarrassed by what you said?
Oh yeah, completely. Every time. No, not every time, but like every time I answer a question, I'm like, for some reason, I go blank. Like it's like the question's being asked to me and everything goes blank. My mom's like, oh my gosh, how do I answer this? And it's funny because like, you know the answer to the question. And it's more like you have to take a step back and think of yourself in third person. Like, what would Raquel think about this topic? Like, what do I stand for as a person? And then it's kind of easier to answer it that way.
Oh, that's great. I mean, everyone can identify with that, whether it's in a business meeting or whatever. Like I do stand-up comedy and there's some moments where it's like high pressure and I feel out of body. So I love that you reframe it where you're like, what would Raquel think?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. So it will be really fun if we get to see that side of things. I think what's been so fun for us fans to watch in Vanderpump this season is your journey with James. And I have been rooting for you guys so hard through this entire journey, because to see you really stand up for yourself and what you need from a man and a partner was so beautiful. Like,
Thank you.
what was that moment where it kind of changed for you, where you were like, I don't want to use the word ultimatum, but you had to like say how you feel, otherwise you were going to walk.
Yeah. Well, it was actually when those text messages were sent, those rage texts, that was a huge turning point for me because it was just awful, awful all around. There's no other way to describe it. But I think for me, the thing was, if I have kids with James, I never want to put my kids in any kind of position that he was treating me. And I think I was able to convey that well when I gave him an ultimatum. And I think that put things in perspective for him. And I think the way that I was talking kind of freaked him out because he knew I was super serious about it. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I was curious, and from a high level, just wondering, like, have you had experience in the past before dating James where you had been exposed to the sobriety community or addiction like this, in order to know, because you navigated it so well and you still have to navigate it. So I was just curious if you had prior experience with that.
No prior experience. No,
Wow.
I've never dealt with alcoholism or anything like that. But I did attend an AA meeting before I talked to James, and not AA, sorry, Al-Anon. It's called Al-Anon, and that's similar to AA, but it's for the people that have been affected by the person that's drinking or whatever it may be. So it's good that I went to that because they kind of reframe it and explain to you kind of what. Actually, no, it's more about putting yourself first and putting yourself before the other person, because I would find myself making excuses for him, especially in the Tom Tom Pride episode when I run over to Tom Tom because James is calling me. Like, I heard it in his voice. I heard like he was drinking earlier that day, and I could tell in his voice if I didn't drop everything and go straight to Tom Tom that he was going to go down a really bad path and it was going to get really bad. So that's why I missed my shift. It's horrible.
That episode, I was so mad.
Yeah. Looking back, it's so silly. Like, I was putting James before my needs and my responsibilities. So Al-Anon is more about putting yourself before your significant other.
Yeah. And I think it's so nice because have been exposed to that community. I understand it
Hmm.
intimately. And I think it's so nice for us to see that from you, James, and Lala on this show, because a
Yeah.
lot of the show is drinking and partying. It's centered around
Yeah.
bars, and that's how it started. So
We
to
are
see
in a
people's journeys.
party. Yeah, it's a party atmosphere. Stir, tom tom, pump everywhere. Like we're drinking all the time. And then like after work, I'll usually have an espresso martini and with a few other of my coworkers. So there's alcohol surrounding us at all times, and especially with James's job as a DJ, he's like fully immersed in that. So I know he's been challenged by it, but he's really proving himself. And yeah, his sobriety is incredible.
Yeah, it's so beautiful to watch the journey. And I think a key part of that program that he's working is amends and then also forgiveness. And I feel like one of the things that we've seen from you so beautifully, especially this season, is your ability to forgive others. You're so
Oh,
kind and so able to forgive, like when Lala came at you, and
yeah.
forgiving the things that James said. Like, have you always been like that, or what would be some advice you have for viewers of like how to be able to forgive?
I guess I've always been a forgiving person. Um, I in high school I joined a club, and it was about like I can't remember the name of it for some reason, but peer counseling, or is peer counseling or something
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh, I was a peer counselor
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So we would meet like once a week, and we'd like talk to each other about like our own little problems that are happening that no one else would know. And I feel like that gave me a lot of insight onto every single person that you meet every day is going through their own challenges and their own struggles. And you have to be understanding of that person, and the way that they handle certain situations might not be the way that you handle it. So I feel like I've always put myself in other people's shoes, and I've been super not judgmental of people. And I would hope that other people would be non-judgmental to me too. But for me, I feel like the old way I used to think everyone was judging me, which is why I was probably so insecure about talking in front of other people. But now I
Mhm.
feel like I you have to get out of your head about it, because no one's really that concerned about you, you know?
Yeah, that's such good advice, especially in this time of social media when people think that everyone is watching or cares. I mean, for you, you actually have a platform with fans who do care, but at the
Yeah.
same time, just to remind yourself, like it's not that deep.
Yeah, it's not that deep. Like we need to have fun with our lives. Like the whole purpose of filming Vanderpump Rules is to have fun. And like
Yeah,
we can't care that much about it, right? Like it's
yeah.
just our lives, and it's fun, and we get to share that with viewers. And you guys love it, and I've been getting such positive feedback from this season, and it feels really nice.
Absolutely. I feel like we're able to see you for you, and you're not holding back. You're being vulnerable and sharing yourself, and you're someone that we can absolutely 100% root for, both alone and in your relationship. I'm curious as well, like on the subject of forgiveness, has there been a time in the past when you've had to forgive yourself for like a way that you've been treating yourself or
Yeah, I feel like I have to forgive myself often. I
Mhm.
just because like what I was saying about being in your own head, or like
Yeah.
sometimes I think of things that I did in the past, or like things that I regret, and I keep holding on to that. But you've got to like let go of the past, because as long as everyone's fine around you, then you're fine. You're good. You're golden.
Yeah.
I remind myself to be in the moment and not think too much into the future, and not too much into the past either.
That's beautiful. I saw as well, because obviously James has been going live on Instagram
Yeah.
from his jungle of light. I saw that you
Yes.
actually decked it out.
I did. Yeah. For his birthday, I redid the whole office room. I love interior designing. So it was a fun thing for me to do, and James loves it. I put lights all around the top border, and then we have this cool IKEA desk that James has his DJ set up and his speakers, and we have different trees. We got like I'm horrible at taking care of my plants. All of my plants are dead. My cactus in the corner of my room fell over the other day because it was dying from the roots. I'm horrible. So I bought some like faux plants from Home Goods. So good.
Smart.
I love my faux plants. There's one in the background, but we put like 3 in his office room, and he loves it. He calls it the Jungle of Light, and that's where his EP name came from.
I would never judge you for not being able to take care of plants because you take care of a beautiful dog. So
I know. Well, my dog is my life. Taking care of plants and taking care of animals are completely different, because your animal will remind you when he needs to be fed and when he needs to be walked and when he needs to be groomed. And my plants, they just, they sit so quietly that I forget that they need love too.
Well, plants are supposed to thrive with music, so maybe you should switch it, have the fake plants out of the studio and the real plants in the studio.
Okay, we could try that out.
I'm curious, have you always liked that deep house music vibe, or is it something that you are adapting to because you're dating James?
Okay, so I got into deep house music right before I met James. I got a new car at the time. I got my new Volkswagen Jetta in white, and my parents bought the Sirius XM subscription. So I would listen to the BPM channel and the chill channel, and I loved them. I'm like, this is great driving music. Like, I've never heard anything like this. So I got like onto that EDM electronic music. And then I met James, and he showed me more of that. And I was like, oh, I know like a few of these cool songs. So I showed him like a few that I knew, and he loved them. So we kind of bonded with that. But now I love EDM, electronic music, all of that.
That chill radio is a vibe. It's great. And I love James's new EP. It's so fun. And it's so cute to see it so deeply inspired by you. Like, I feel like you were the muse behind it.
Yeah, I guess I was. And he started that EP right at the beginning of quarantine. So it's been like a quarantine baby that we've made, I guess.
Practicing. I love it. I feel like I'm curious because I know you guys already taped the reunion, what the difference was, if any, between the experience of taping the reunion last year versus this year. Obviously it's on Zoom, which last year it wasn't, but in the way that the cast interacted when it came to your portions, discussing you and James, did you feel like there was a different vibe related to last year?
Yeah, I think it was completely different. Like you said, Zoom versus in real life. Obviously I prefer in real life because of so many different reasons. But also I feel like this year was really different for James because of his storyline and the choices that he made. And he really came out on top. And I feel like that was really acknowledged this year, and it was really nice compared to like years before where, it hasn't been the best reunion.
The iconic white Kanye moments.
But I would say like the format was a little strange because it was more like topics instead of specific questions that Andy would ask, because he'd ask one thing and then we kind of like jump in where we felt like we needed to say something, but it was more just like a discussion instead of specific questions.
Yeah. How do you feel about the whole reception towards like the newbies, quote unquote, versus like the OGs? Do you feel like it should be split as separate series, or like how do you feel? And where do you identify in the spectrum of newbie versus OG? Because you're so floating between.
I am a little bit in between, but I guess I don't know. I guess I'm a little OG. I wouldn't consider myself OG, but I'm I don't know. I'm somewhere in there. As far as separating, like creating a new Vanderpump Rules with a new cast, I mean, I'm here for it. I'm down for the ride. I'm down either way. Either way, I'm still going to continue working at SUR, and I know that they're going to want to show me working at SUR. So I'm I'm fine either way.
Yeah. Yeah. And if that happens, you better be on both shows.
I don't, is it going to be two separate shows? I don't even know. If it is two separate shows, then yeah, James and I are definitely gonna make our way on to both shows. Get like double screen time.
Maximum screen time. We need
Yeah.
it. We need it. I mean, who knows? Like, who's to say? But I feel like there's been a lot of fan speculation and just like curious what will happen because the cast is so large this year that like if that were to happen, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. You'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, it's been such a fun ride to watch the difference between this year and last year. Who do you feel like you're the closest with of the newbies?
Of the newbies, I feel closest with Danica.
Mm-hmm.
She's my manager at SUR, and like she's super fun and boss. I wouldn't say she's bossy, but like, you know, she's got an attitude, and I really like that about her, and she says it like it is. And yeah, I like Danica a lot. Charlie's cute. Dana's really fun. She's actually really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I like her a lot. Brett is a cool guy. We play a lot of video games together, James, Brett, and I. So he's
that's so cute.
Yeah, I like all the new people.
Yeah. How do you feel about Scheana getting a bad edit and people being treated as heroes?
I hate that. I hate that she gets a bad edit. Like, I know that it really affects her personally, and she's told me so many times, like, it's not fair. It's not fair to her, especially because she's an OG, and like there should be some respect towards her. I don't know. It's really frustrating for her.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been so nice to see her YouTube channel and her podcast so that she can really show the true her and herself, because I think that fans are really latching onto that. So if I had any plea for you, it would be, Raquel, you should start a podcast or a YouTube channel. Do you have any plans for something like that?
Scheana's been telling me to start a YouTube channel. She's been really on that. And I don't know, maybe I will. Maybe I'll start a YouTube channel. Definitely not a podcast, because I'm not like a talker person. I could never do what you do, asking people questions and like creating a conversation. But YouTube would be fun. Like, lifestyle beauty stuff is what I'm really into, and interior design. So I think that would be
it would be so perfect for you. And I know you're kind of working on some plans that I don't know how much you can share about beauty, but it would be the perfect platform for you to share more, because I know, again, it's like fans like myself and others are so excited about what you've been up to this season and in your personal life. So I think it would be a great outlet for you.
Thank you. Okay. Now
let Scheana convince you. And I'll be a secondary one to convince. But this has been so great, Raquel. Thank you so much for sharing time with us. Loved having you here on AfterBuzz. Again,
Thank you
I'm
for
James.
having me. You've been really sweet.
You're the best. Please keep in touch. We would love to have you back. We can chat more on Instagram, all the things. But yeah, so this is the Bravo in Quarantine series. I'll actually be chatting with Charlie Burnett right after this. And it's been so great to have you guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, Raquel.
Bye. Thanks.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.